So our first tip has to do with coverage and wherever they have Google Street View. And that is our first tip of the day. So, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little guy right here. What? Why is there no coverage showing? Hold on, let me close that. And then maybe it'll show street views. There we go. Alright, so starting off with coverage. So, there are many major cities in Bolivia that a lot of people like to guess. But there are only a few of them that don't have coverage. So, let's go ahead. The first city that we are going to go over with... Really? Really? That's the second time. Okay. Yo, you're trying to... Okay. So, the first thing is the city of Tarija. Now, let's zoom into Tarija over here. And you can probably see when it loads, of course. Where? Yo, you just turned off the light. Okay. I mean, it's not that dark in here, so... As you can see, in the city of Tarija, there's almost no coverage at all. And the only coverage in Tarija is user-generated content, or photospheres. So photospheres are user-generated. All of this stuff is user-generated. This is not Google Car Street View or anything. So everything is photospheres or photopath or user-generated content, which is very useful for a major city like Tarija. I'm going to show you here, and it will show very different. So as you can see, when it loads, of course, this is user-generated. This is by a Google Maps user. I mean, yes, the quality is good, but this is normally what you would see if... Now, since you see this car, this is not a Bolivian car. This is user-generated. So, never guess in Tarija on the Bolivia map. Don't guess Tarija in the Bolivian map. Here we go. So, now that we've gotten Tarija out of the way, don't guess Tarija. Just don't guess Tarija. I know it's tempting sometimes, but just don't guess it. In the next one that you cannot guess at all is Trinidad. Now, Bolivia hasn't even driven their Google cars in the entire Amazon rainforest area. So, no Google cars have been driven near the Brazilian border. No Google cars have been driven up here near the forest Peruvian border. None of them have been driven near Paraguay, which kind of makes sense because they don't have coverage in Paraguay, but still. So, God. Okay. So, okay. So now, so don't ever guess Trinidad. Or, so I've gotten this in a GeoGuessr daily challenge, but it is very rare for you to get something like Montero. So Montero is a city north of Santa Cruz. So, load it, load. There are only a few areas that you could guess in Montero that would actually look like Montero. So, here's what this looks like. Now, when you're guessing in Montero, always guess the south. Never guess northern Montero unless it's a major road. Only guess in this little square area in Montero. I've gotten only 1 or 2 rounds in here ever. So never guess in North Montero, north of here. And never guess in this central Montero area unless you are in or on one of the major roads on Bolivian 4. Oh, speaking of GeoGuessr, B for geography. So, there's that. And now, finally, we have Uyuni, which is one of the most major cities in Bolivia, considering it only has 5,000 or so people. Now, it looks like Uyuni has a lot, but it's only photospheres, because Salar de Uyuni, there's almost no way to get there. It takes a very long time to get there, even if you're going from somewhere like Potosi. So, Salar de Uyuni is the largest salt flat in the world, and you would think they'd have coverage. No, they don't. Uyuni doesn't even have a single bit of coverage. So, Uyuni, this is where like the hotels are. You may see user-generated content in the future, but you are never going to see Google Street View cars. So never guess here when you're on the Bolivian map. So Uyuni only has these photospheres, which, like I said before, those are user-generated. So now, I want to get to the more El Alto area, but we are not out of coverage yet. There is La Paz. So there is a city south of El Alto in La Paz called Viacha. So now, let this load first. This little city called Viacha. It's kind of a major city. It's south of El Alto and La Paz. As you can see, you still kind of get the La Paz, El Alto suburbs. But it is very rare that you will ever get around in Viacha. Now, the only time you will probably ever guess Viacha is if you're in Central, like only guess in the Central, or if it's a major road that looks like a highway in Bolivia. Now, I'm going to show you what a regular highway looks like in Bolivia. So we're going to go in between El Alto and La Paz, because I think that's the best way to show. And we're going to go ahead and move on down. And here's what they look like. They don't really look like something in the ordinary, which can really confuse people that have never been to Bolivia. But since I've been to Bolivia before, and in the La Paz El Alto area, I've never been to Viacha. But I will tell you, this area right here, you will probably only get once or twice if you ever play on the Bolivia map every day. This is the Viacha area. So the roads don't look like regular interstates. They look like basic back roads that you would see in the United States or in Europe, which makes it very hard to tell if you're actually on an interstate, or whatever you want to call them in Bolivia, on a highway or freeway. But now we're going to move more into El Alto, and I'm going to show you more. So here's El Alto. It starts to look a little more like you're on a regular road. But never guess on like a road like, let me show you. Like, for example, never guess on roads like right in this little area over here. Like in this area, never guess roads there. Because 9 times out of 10, if you guess in this road, 9 times out of 10, if you get around on roads like these, it'll be more dirt road type roads. Or you could possibly see the airport or something. Which I really use the airport. And now, yeah. So now, let's move on to other stuff. So next, so that is ways that you can actually not guess the wrong city. But if you're playing on the Bolivia map and you guess the wrong city, you're not, like, let's say you're guessing any of these cities. Sucre, Oruro, Potosí, La Paz, Cochabamba, Santa Cruz. Heck, even Montero. If you guess Montero and it's in Santa Cruz, you're not getting over 4,000. Like, so on stream, on my last stream, I got 68 yards from the actual location. And that was a 4998. So that means you would need 20 yards or less to 5K, pretty much. A little, maybe 20, maybe 21 yards. But I'm going to have to change that to the actual metric system. I don't know why it's made like that. Because when I signed into my account on my phone, it was metric, but when I logged on to like the actual website Geoguessr, like not like the actual app, but like when I signed in on the website, it's the regular what Americans use. But now, these are tips for each city. Now, Santa Cruz, I hate to break it to you, but I don't have a lot of tips for Santa Cruz. Even though that is the biggest city in Bolivia, I really don't have much to say about it. Now, let's just move into the La Paz El Alto area. Starting off with El Alto. Most of the time, when you are in El Alto, you will be spawned in this area. So when you're playing on the world map, when you're playing on world or ranked duels in silver or bronze, because El Alto spawns in a lot of rounds, never guess this area of El Alto. Never. Never guess near the stadium. Well, I wouldn't say never guess near the stadium, but never guess on the side roads near the stadium. The only time you want to guess the stadium is when you're on a main road or you can see the actual stadium. So now that we've got that over, let's move on to the airport area. Now, this happens very often when you're playing the Bolivia map. You get on a road where you could actually see the airport. So let's just click right on it. Now, look, we can see the airport. Now, you zoom in over there. Quality kind of sucks. You can see that is the El Alto La Paz International Airport. And the way you can tell that is if you can see a BOA airplane. Now, you may not be able to see one right now, but depending on the spot where you're in, you could be able to see a BOA airplane. But if you ever see a gate like this, this is the airport. And this is one of the best tricks for El Alto. Now, those mountains, I know it's tempting, but there is a mountain called Nevado de Guimani. But you don't ever want to guess unless you're facing your compass and you can physically see it that way. But I will get into that in a bit. So now, we have the airport out of the way. Now, some people may say, is there actual coverage, like, for the airport? No, there isn't. Like, there's no coverage when you're on the road to the airport. But I've never gotten around here. This may be user-generated. This is, like, one of the only things I don't know about the airport, and it may be user-generated. I'm gonna check. I think it's user-generated, though. And yes, it's user-generated. Oh, no, it's Google Street View. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, wow. So, that made things a lot weirder. Okay, so if you ever are in the airport area, it's common sense, but if you're in that area, the airport's not that big. It's only got like five to seven gates. Like, it's very small. I've not been in it, but I've been near it. Like, I've been in the, like, vicinity of it. Like, to drop people off, I've been in the, like, whatever this is called, the parking space of it. So, yeah. But the only time you're really gonna get rounds here is if you're really playing in an El Alto map, which you probably will never find unless you physically search it up. Now let's move on to La Paz, because this is a very hard one to guess, and I've struggled a lot in La Paz. Now let's start with downtown La Paz near Estadio Hernando Siles. So, this is the Bolivian national team stadium, but it's kind of rare to get rounds near the stadium, actually. So let's go ahead and move right there. So you can tell it's very different to El Alto. El Alto acts more of a suburb than it does the main city. Even though El Alto has nearly 1 million people, heck, it could even be 1 million people right now. And La Paz, they're kind of going down in population, and a lot of people are moving to El Alto. I know what a lot of people could be saying about El Alto, but you're gonna collapse in the airport. You're gonna collapse. Like, it's really not that bad unless you're not used to it. Like, you live near a beach or something. You live near sea level. It's fine. But since I'm used to high elevation. Highest elevation I've ever been outside of El Alto La Paz is about 10,000 feet. Like 8 to 10,000 feet outside of El Alto in the United States. That's the highest I've ever been. Now Denver, or like whatever, Denver, United States, that is literally a mile high. Like, they're like 6,000 feet. So compare that to La Paz. You've got like twice as much. But now, there's really not much I have to say about La Paz. Downtown La Paz is very hard. You really just have to get lucky. You're really just going to get lucky with La Paz. It's very easy to tell if you're near the stadium, though. But now, this is what I always have problems with. This area of La Paz. And yes, they have coverage over here. I used to never get rounds over here. I used to never get La Paz, period. But look at this. If you see more rocky elements, hold on. If you see more rocky elements, you need to guess outside on the outskirts of the city, like in like the area over. Oh wait, no. You gotta guess like in this giant circle over here. And I know what you're talking about. Like, it's a very hard area to check. But you just gotta learn. Like, I'm not doing a full-on guide in teaching. Like, for example, here, you see rocks? See rocks in this area over here? There you go. There's your rock rock element stuff. So then you know you're in this giant circle. It already eliminates half of the city of La Paz. So thinking about it, if you guess in this area of La Paz, like if you guess over here instead of here, it would not be a reasonable guess. It's not how you learn. You learn by guessing in this area and seeing how far you are and looking in the certain areas. Now, this is actually a better tip. So, there is a mountain called Nevado Yimani. It is the most prominent peak in Bolivia. And 9 times out of 10, if you get around in El Alto and it's completely sunny, you will be in only one certain area in El Alto. And that certain area would be more in the north of El Alto. Now, let me show you. You can see it looks a lot more different. It looks a lot more different than South El Alto or the airport district area. And we're gonna move our thingy till we can see Yimani. Now you can easily tell that this area of El Alto, okay, I think that is it over there. That little white mountain. We're gonna move up here a little bit more. Quality is a little bad. And yes, there it is. Okay, here you go. That over there is Nevado Yimani. The only way you can tell is really by looking that way. Now, this has gotten me a lot more points in El Alto. Use the compass. Even when you're playing on moving, use the compass. No move, that is even more crucial. If you use the compass and no move, chances are you could get 10 or more points by using the compass. So, the El Alto roads are a lot more different to guess. So, I'm going to zoom out. Look at the entire area. Look at this entire area for a second. Can you see that this entire area, if you're in the north, it looks more like this. If you're in the south, it looks more like, I don't know how to say it. It looks more, like you're in a darker area. So just think about that, alright? Just think about it. I'm going to move closer to Yimani. And I'm going to try to see if it's easier to see the mountain. There you go. We're getting even closer. Or not even closer, but yeah. Hold on, let it load. Alright, and that's Yimani over there. Those 3 peaks is Yimani and, hold on. And that's really all the tips for El Alto in the La Paz area. And those are the most tips that you will get for a city. That is Yimani. And yes, I know, it looks very far. But that's how it is for mountains like this. So those mountains are Yimani, Cayu, and pretty sure Cerro Mururata. I've actually never heard of that mountain. But I like to call these the triplet peaks of La Paz. Okay. So, hold on, my mom's texting me real quick. Okay. Alright, so these I like to call the triplet peaks. Or, en español, los picos de Triplete de La Paz. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me. But now let's move on to the city of Cochabamba. Now this is by far the most important tip in Bolivia, in my opinion. So, you see that mountain? We're going to talk a lot about that mountain in Cochabamba. And I don't have a lot of tips for Cochabamba, just mainly because this is probably the most useful tip in Bolivia. I'm not even joking to you. So if you ever see that mountain and you're on the Bolivia map, you are 101% in Cochabamba. I'm not even joking. 101% in Cochabamba. Like, it's that crucial that you know that when you see that mountain, you are in Cochabamba. Just look. You can even see. Since Cochabamba, okay, here's what I'm gonna say. So every single time you see that mountain, Cochabamba is a valley. It is more flat. And yes, Cochabamba is high, but not as high as La Paz. It's like 8,000, 9,000 feet. But Cochabamba, the thing about it is, if it's more flat, you can eliminate. Even if you can't see the mountain, if it's flat, you eliminate La Paz and El Alto. Because El Alto looks nothing like this. You also eliminate Oruro. You can also eliminate the non-coverage cities. So then you have a 50-50 chance. Is it Santa Cruz or Cochabamba? But here, Santa Cruz, it's tropical. So if you can see it more tropical, if you can tell if it's tropical, you got Cochabamba. Cochabamba, in my opinion, is the easiest city to guess in Bolivia. Oruro and El Alto, they are the two that I tend to struggle on sometimes because I've never been to Oruro. I've only been to El Alto, La Paz, Cochabamba, and Salar de Uyuni, and Lake Titicaca. But there's really nothing you need to know. In downtown Cochabamba, it looks like your average downtown, like tall buildings, but not that tall because it's Bolivia. Come on now. Now next, we're going to move on to Santa Cruz de la Sierra. Now Santa Cruz, I don't have a lot of tips for Santa Cruz. But what I will say is no place in Santa Cruz looks like downtown except one place. And that is literally downtown Santa Cruz. When you're in downtown, you know you are in downtown Santa Cruz. I'm just going to show you one spot. Oh wait, no, this is user generated. That'll make it worse. But you see the yellow? You see the yellow? This is downtown. I'm going to move to a non-user generated area. But July 2025, that's actually very recent, so could have changed from the Google Street. Here we go. Oh, that does not look like downtown. Am I even in the area of downtown? Can we move over here? Oh, right here. Right here. Now, I'm going to move around once. And tell me, where does it look like we are? In Santa Cruz? It looks like we're in downtown. Now, don't take this for granted. More downtown is more north. So if you're in downtown Santa Cruz, guess in the north. You should guess in the north of downtown. Or wherever we're facing, to the south. Alright. I'm gonna look more for more downtown. Like, it looks a lot like you would be in a downtown area. But I'll show you more in the outskirts area that it doesn't really look like you're in Santa Cruz. Oh, this is user generated. It's fine though. Look, you can tell you're in downtown just because it's so modern. Well, not modern, but you can just tell it's... Okay, this looks ghetto, honestly. This doesn't look like downtown, honestly. When you see those buildings right there, that's you know you're near downtown. So, yeah. Next, we have really nothing else you need to know about Santa Cruz, but District 4. This is the one I know the most about. Here's what District 4 looks like. You can tell it's the closest, well, not really the closest, but it's kind of ghetto, or looks kind of ghetto. And I won't lie, this is really what anything outside of downtown looks like. It looks like your average town. Which, it's very hard to reach and guess. I'm not good at Santa Cruz. The one city that I've never gone to, but I really want to go to, is Santa Cruz. Now, I am going to Santa Cruz in the summer, so I will give more tips on Santa Cruz, maybe. If, heck, I might not even be playing Geoguessr by then, because my subscription ends soon. Now, Sucre. I don't have much to say about Sucre. It is so rare for you to get rounds in Sucre. I'm not even joking. You almost never get rounds in Sucre. But Sucre, it looks developed. Now Sucre, you only get it confused with La Paz. Betis 1, nice. What was Anthony's rating? Anthony didn't even play. He didn't even get subbed on. He was a sub. Nice. Good job, Betis. Now, Sucre. Never guess North Sucre. Never guess up here. Never guess near the airport. I know it's tempting, but never guess near the airport. Unless you're like on a main road. Now, downtown Sucre is really the only thing I can help you on. Because it's kind of similar to La Paz, not gonna lie. Now, you can see it looks a little bit like La Paz. But the only way you can tell is really by if you find clues. This building, you don't really see, but this is like the only way that can help you. This building right here will tell you it's Sucre. And now, I know this looks like your average El Auto road, but trust me. And if you see, hold on, let me move towards the stadium. The stadium, here you go. This stadium right here. It's not Hernando Siles. Spot the difference between Hernando Siles and that stadium, and you will tell that this is Sucre. I'm not even joking. you can tell very big differences. You just gotta spot the difference. And this doesn't look like your average area in La Paz, though. And that's how you tell this is Sucre. I've only been to La Paz, Cochabamba, and Salar de Uyuni. And El Alto, of course, because it's in the La Paz area. So I've never been to Sucre, but I still know tips. But next, this is more rare of a city to get, but you can still get it a lot, especially in the Bolivia map. If you're playing on the Bolivia map and you're trying to take my top 25, you need this tip right here. Potosi. It's hard to guess compared to... I don't know if you can tell, but this looks like something out of Mars. I'm not even joking. But jokes aside, let's go ahead and let me show you. Alright, let the stuff load. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is Google Street View. I don't like looking at user-generated stuff, mainly because you will probably never find those. Now, Potosi's roads are very narrow. They're very narrow. Try to take you to a spot where you could actually see where I'm looking for the tip. Here we go. Now, most of the time when you're in Potosi, you can see that mountain. Now, I'm going to show you on, it's let me show you. Where's Potosi? Look. Look at that. Literally the exact same thing. And that's how you can tell if it's Potosi. And that's really the only tip for Potosi. Now, Oruro, this is also kind of hard. Because it also looks like El Alto. A lot of cities look like El Alto, I'll tell you that. But now, this is the last city, and then we'll wrap it up. And then one final tip for Bolivia. Right, Oruro. Now, I only have one tip, and that is for the mountain in Oruro. Now, I'm going to show you just on maps. Now, it's harder to tell, but you can oftentimes see this mountain when you're in Oruro. And it has snow on it a lot as well. Because Oruro is very high as well. They are almost at 13,000 feet in elevation. And there are some areas that probably reach over 13,000 feet that you can drive on. I'm not even joking. Now, okay, let's look towards this way. And you can see the mountain. It looks kind of like Potosi, but you can tell it's more Oruro because of how more, flat, it's more flat. And it's not as tall, and it's not as coney. It's not like a cone. It's not it's more round-ish. So, yeah. And that's really all I have. And one final tip, but you will probably never, ever see this if you're playing on the Bolivia map. I'm not even joking. Unless you're playing a rural world, community world, I don't even know if you actually get this. And it is the tallest mountain in Bolivia, Nevado Sajama. Now, Nevado Sajama, the tallest mountain in Bolivia. If I can find it, of course. Here we go. It's very easy to tell when you're next to Nevado Sajama. Now, it's actually not. Now, if Yimani was put right next to Nevado Sajama, Yimani would actually be the tallest mountain in Bolivia. And Yimani is only. And Nevado Sajama is only higher by a couple. I think only like about 100 feet. I'm not even joking. Now, Nevado Sajama is in the Oruro department. So, now look to your left. There you go. Nevado Sajama, the tallest mountain in Bolivia. Really the last tip I have for you. It's so close to the Peruvian border that even in times you could actually see it from the Peruvian border. That is how high Nevado Sajama is. And like go to the Peruvian border and you can actually see it. But since these mountains block it, you can't really see. Like, but if you're in a certain area, you can actually see it. And really, that's it for all I have for the tips. But let me just go ahead and go here real quick. Oh, not the Bolivian border, not the Bolivian Peru border. It's the Chile border. I don't know why I said Peru. You can't see Nevado Sajama due to these mountains blocking it, sadly. But I will say, I really hope you learned a lot from this, and I'm going to try to look at Nevado Sajama border. Simón Bolívar. No, you can't even see it. Because of like you're facing like up, and you're going down more towards the mountain. So, yeah. But that's really all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching this tips and tricks video for Bolivia, and I really hope you guys learned from this video. Make sure you guys comment, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a brand new video. Share this video with a friend, and join my Discord server for any information on my videos and giveaways. And so you can just chat with my community. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.